next project is a Tamiya Tiger 1 tank. Now, one thing I hear about Tamiya kits all the time is, oh, I'd love to do that, but they're so expensive, I just can't afford it. Well, I'm a really good scrounger and hunter. I looked just recently, and the best deal I could find on this tank was $677 shipped. I bought this one for $440 about 6 months ago, so I really keep my eye out. When a good deal comes along, I buy it. But the one in here, shipped, I paid $230 for it. It was on eBay. It was a used Tiger 1 tank. Always a chance when you get stuff off of there, but let's see what we got. Well, we have interesting packing material. Old rags. Alright. We have a Futaba radio, Tiger 1 instruction book, a bunch of leftover parts, and Tiger 1 tank. Alright, let's take a close-up look at this. Well, at first glance, this looks pretty good. I don't see any major missing parts. One of the fenders has fallen off. Turret looks good. Overall, a few missing bits. There's no top on the air cleaner. One of the hatches is missing. But overall, looks pretty good. Plus, there's a whole bunch of parts in here, so I suspect I might find some of the missing parts in here. Alright, I'm going to move the camera and we'll take the top off and see what we're going to find for this project. Alright, let's look inside here. Well, it looks complete. It's a little dusty. It's even got a couple batteries. I'm sure those are no good, but we'll see if we can fix them. Turret rotation motor. Turret looks good. DMD unit is in here. Okay, looks nice. The radio it came with does not match the receiver that's in it, so we don't care. We're going to throw that away anyway. And let's kind of see what spare parts they gave me. There's our missing fender, of course. All kinds of stuff. There's a driver figure, a couple of road wheels. I don't really see any missing. Nope. Some spare track links, muffler parts, miscellaneous nuts, bolts, and screws, the grenade launchers that are missing on that side. Oh, there's the top of the air cleaner. There's the hatch. Looks to be pretty complete, plus it did come with a manual, which is always nice. I can print these off of the internet, but nice to get a manual with it. I'm going to do a multi-part series on this. Basically turning in this old basement salvage tank into a really beautiful tank. So before I actually get started, and we'll start with disassembly in a little while, I just want to show you how I prepare when I build a model like this. So the first thing I'm looking for, I go through my library and look at the books that I've got to help me build this model. Obviously, Squadron's Tiger in Action, pretty good book. Tank Craft's Tiger 1, another pretty good book. Has some good paint information, but not great. Getting Better, Wrighton's book on the Tiger 1 and Storm Tiger. This is a fabulous book with all kinds of detailed photographs. I love this kind of stuff. It really helps me with my modeling. I like to understand what I'm looking at. That's an excellent book. Better yet, and I think this book is still available, it's Germany's Tiger Tanks by Gents. It's just fantastic. It's not really a modeling book per se, but the information in it is just amazing. and really, really helpful. Beautiful drawings, amazing pictures, and a lot of detail pictures, even like shapes of some parts underneath. A really, really good book to have on hand for modeling. Close-up views of things like cupolas and hatches. One of my favorite books on the Tiger. I'll use that. Ammo of MiGs, Waffen SS colors. Ammo of MiG books are, I have a passion for these, and I'm afraid I buy too many, but they're all fabulous. So this book is basically on color schemes of a lot of German equipment at various times during the war, with lots of great ideas on painting. And then finally, the best book you could ever find on the Tiger tank. Military Miniatures in Review, The Modeler's Guide to the Tiger Tank. It is just a work of art. Unfortunately, it's out of print. It's really hard to find. I found this copy on eBay for what I thought was a good price, around 75 bucks. But it's just super hard to get, but has just unbelievable references for model builders. So I will use this book a lot when I build this tank. I really want to make it a beautiful tank, not just fix an old shelf clean, but restore it to beauty. The other thing I've got, and I do this all the time, is whenever I see a good deal on photo etch, I buy it. So I have a big box full of just 1/16 photo etch. So I dug through there to see what I had, and I've got the Tiger 1 early version, basic set by Aber. I have the add-on set somewhere. Yep, the additional set by Aber. I've got front fenders and rear fenders by Aber. I've got photo etch side skirts by Voyager. And then I have some generic pieces like tow cables and clamps and clasps by Aber. So I'll probably be using some of these photo etch parts. I don't know how much photo etch I'm going to do, but I'll probably do, quite a bit. The other thing I found when I was digging through my stuff was a Petting House decal of Michael Whitman's tank with painting information. Don't know if I'll use those on this tank, but I might. So I've got my references in order, and now I'm going to start by disassembling this tank and seeing what I have. I have the first layer of gear out. I've got the speaker out, the DMD control unit, and everything looks really good on that. The MF-01, I even found the machine gun barrel tucked down inside. The mounting floor for the electronics. And that gives me a better look inside the tank. It is filthy dirty. There's a couple of things. What in the heck is this? Fish hook, okay. That goes in the garbage can. Overall, it looks great. The gearbox looks fine. Nice thing about Tamiya tank kits, well, all Tamiya RC kits, in fact, is that many of these components are screwed on. So to remove them, I don't have to break glue joints. I just have to unbolt them or unscrew them. So I'm going to continue by unscrewing all the loose parts around here, this metal bracket. I'm going to turn this thing into a kit again. I'm going to disassemble it just about as far as I can go, because I really want to clean everything. I need to see if they used bearings in it, where bearings are. I kind of doubt they did. I'll pull the deck apart, all the components here. Obviously these are screwed on. Some of the parts that are glued are already loose. So like these tow cables, the glue joints are not very good. So I can just pretty much peel them apart. I'm going to replace those clamps anyway, so I'm just going to go about peeling and removing and taking everything apart that I can. Also, I found some additional parts that I have for Tigers that I think might be useful to me on this. I've got one of the parts I'm going to use for sure is I have a set of Mado lighted headlights, metal headlights. I'm going to use those. I've got a Schumo kit mid-production Tiger cupola, which I think is really cool, plus the hatch for that, so I may use that. I've got a brass machine gun port for the turret. I've got some metal shackles. I have this beautiful machined aluminum gun barrel and muzzle brake. Don't know if I'm going to use that or not because I do have the other Tiger to build. I've got some cast rear mud flaps that I might use instead of the photo etch. I have the mid-production air intake, and I've got a suspension bearing kit. This takes care of a weak spot in the front suspension. I'm going to definitely use that. And I've got upgraded screw set for the bottom of the tank, which instead of having Phillips head screw heads, has bolt heads, which is more prototypical to the Tiger, so I may use that. So continue to find cool parts. I'm going to set those aside for my project, and I'm going to take some more things apart. A few minutes work, I was able to pull all the parts off the deck. The glue was old and the parts just snapped off pretty easily. One nice thing, this kit was never painted, so that saves me some paint stripping. You can see some of the parts here. I've decided that I need to completely disassemble the chassis because it's just filthy. In order to do that, I've got to pull all these out so I can get the body off. And that requires pulling the tracks. So the tracks just have metal pins that hold them on. Pin pulls out, and the track just pulls off. Got all my road wheels here. They're rubber, they're filthy dirty, and all these are held in with set screws. So I have to pull all the set screws, pull all the wheels off, pull all the rubber tires off, and pull the chassis apart. Once I get that done, I will take all the pieces and wash them with dish soap and water and a small brush to clean everything before I start to reassemble. Again, turning it back into a kit. With the gearboxes out, the torsion bars out, and the screws out, the whole chassis plate just lifts out. You can see just how filthy this was inside. So far these are glued pretty good. I'm going to work on those a little bit later, and I'm going to take these parts and wash them. I'm happy that I took this apart because all the set screws holding the rear wheel assemblies were not Loctited and they were all loose. All the rubber tires appear to be in good condition. I'll pull these all apart and then get everything washed, and we'll be ready to start thinking about putting it back together. It came apart pretty easy. Completely disassembled now. I've got all the parts washed. I used Palmolive dish soap because it cuts through oil and grease really well. Pretty much laid everything out here. Don't know how good you can see it. But now I have a Tiger kit again, and I'd say it's probably 90% disassembled. There's a few things I couldn't disassemble, like the road wheels. I cleaned up the electronics here. So now I'm going to let this dry overnight, and then I will start getting to work on building this Tiger tank. I will add links in the description to some of the books I showed, and I'll add a link to a movie called White Tiger, which is just a fantastic tank movie made in Russia, but subtitled in English. That's really kind of an interesting movie to watch for people who like tanks. So this ends part 1, and I will be back later. Thank you so much for watching.